What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I am Alex, and we've expanded a little bit in the guest department. We're here for a Scream 6 live stream. We're slowly trying to build it out. I'd actually like to get the entirety of the Lethal Collective. Maybe for the next one, we can just keep expanding until StreamYard says no. But welcome to the two incredible guests. We have both of their links, as always, and of course, are in the description below. Killjoy Jake, let me see if I get the pointer finger right there. Yeah. And then underneath me, Steven of Craven Something Scary. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, what's up, man? How's it going?
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it as always, Alex.
Yes, and
it's always a pleasure.
I think we've all maybe to some degree talked about it. I really want to focus on that synopsis because boy was that fun. We can talk about kind of the lead up to it, but anything else that of course happens, Scream 6 or whatever comes up, Scream 6. Jake, we haven't talked actually in a while. Your fan film came out. It was incredible.
Thank you.
Steven and I have kind of gone back and forth. So and we could do it for all of us. Where are we right now? I know Jake and I were talking about this right before. Where are we on our Scream 6 excitement, our hype for this movie? Just a month, at this point away.
Oh man, I'm so excited. Like I was just telling you before we even went live. I'm way more excited for this one than 5 even, which is nuts. Because I was so ready for that. I was like, this is gonna be great. Coming back to this wonderful franchise, and now 6. I have no idea what to expect. Yeah. No idea what we're getting from this one, and that is just so much more exciting in like every facet for me. So I seriously can't wait for this, even with that weird synopsis coming out recently.
Steven, where are you on the hype train?
Oh man, the hype train is real, my friend. It is the real. I'm really excited. I'm with Jake. I mean, I was excited for 5, but I was more nervous for 5 than excited because it's the first Scream without Wes, and so I was very concerned about this could be really bad or really terrible or it could be really good.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, as you know, I have my feelings on 5. It's my least favorite, but it wasn't terrible. It was a good movie. And, there's a lot of good things in the movie. But the way I feel now for 6, totally different story. So I'm like, okay, the Wes Mantle, they did their love letter to Wes, which is what I call 5. And I think that's a fairly decent, description. It's a love letter more to Wes than it is moving the franchise forward. And so we got that out of the way, and they did a decent job. But now I'm ready to see the new ground, the new stuff. Where are we going to move the franchise forward? Where's Radio Silence pulling out their stamp and going, rubber stamping the movie with their signature? This is what I want to see happen. Yeah. And I think by the New York setting, by the tone we've seen, a shrine. I mean, we've never seen anything like this in a Scream movie. And I think Tara said it best, or Jenna Ortega, I should say. Jenna said that or maybe it was Melissa. Anyway, one of the two said in an interview that there's so much going on in this movie, the action, the gore, that they're going to distract us from Nev's absence. And I think that based on what Tyler just said in an interview a couple of days ago, he's basically saying that when this movie starts, it does not stop. The pace is insane, and it's like 2 hours of a blur. And so
that has me really excited, man. Like I saw that, and I'm like, that's really exciting. What does a really fast-paced Scream movie look like? And we're gonna see that here on March 10th. I don't know. That's really exciting. It feels like it's gonna be more in line with something like Ready or Not, opposed to Scream 5. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was just imagining like opening kill immediately into whatever happened, whether it's like the subway or whatever. Just imagining how quick it could just jump from one thing to the next. No real setup. Yeah, that gets me pretty pumped. So we're going to talk about the synopsis, but I do want to focus on this. I was going to talk about this anyway, but thank you, Austin. You see the new clip on social media. It's official, the whole Tara, screaming at Ghostface. There's another one that shows Henry Czerny, and I don't know where the person got it from. But do you guys know what I'm talking about? There's a clip.
No.
Oh, really?
I've been out of the loop for a week, man.
Okay. So the clip they're talking about, maybe we can watch it.
Yeah, man.
That doesn't have Henry in it, but it does have. It's the Tara screaming, "Come and get me!" It's that scene when she's back to back with Melissa or Sam, and then there's another. Then when the clip happened, it said like the new trailer is out now, and obviously that's talking about just the trailer. But I did get fooled for a second. I was like, is there another thing I don't know about? So I went on YouTube and I just looked at like today or yesterday, and there was one that almost mimics this clip. It's like 10, 15 seconds, and Henry Czerny is in it. I don't think, I mean, fan made maybe in a sense. I don't know if they got him from a different movie and put him in, but it definitely looked like it was Scream 6. So I don't know. Maybe there's like an extra, because there is like that extra scene or two. Let's watch it. Let's try to find it. While we're doing that, or while I'm looking for it, what did you guys think about the synopsis? And now it's not confirmed to be fake. Critical Overlord is the only one I think we're going off of, but I mean, I have enough trust in him. What'd you guys think about the synopsis? If it's real and if it's fake?
That can't be real. Like it just can't be real, man. Like I would lose all faith in Sam as a character if she did something like that. If she like decided to dress up as Ghostface and like mess with her sister, who would what a jerk. Like who would do that? I don't know, man. I read that and I'm like, this can't be real. Like that was my first immediate thought just reading that. It also feels like it's written by somebody who really wants to see Jenna Ortega in the #1 lead role opposed to Sam. So like that, I feel like that's also not the route they're gonna go, which I'm sure some people hearing that not super happy about that, but it would just be so weird, right? Like what if they made like Star Wars Episode 4, Luke Skywalker, very clearly the main character. Now we're randomly shifting over to Han Solo for 5, Like that's basically the same thing you're doing here. They wouldn't do that. I don't think they would do that, even though Tara, yes, has a crazy amount of star power.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think I did a video on it last night when I first saw it. I'm like, wait a second, because my buddy Eric over at the Beard Entertainment shot me a message that says, check this out. And I'm like, so this is interesting. And like, this is coming from Alamo Drafthouse, which is, legitimate, cinema company. And I'm like, well, where are they getting this from? Where do they get this from is what I want to know, because it's nowhere else out there that I could find. And then I saw the Screen Rant.
That's what I saw. I saw the Screen Rant one. I'm like, these guys are going all in.
They are.
On this thing that doesn't seem very real.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, like the 3 killers makes sense, because I've been, as you guys know, I've been predicting that's going to happen since they showed us those 3 different Ghostface characters in the movie, the different scenes of the masks.
Yeah,
there's 3 distinct masks. So I do, because there's the alley mask, the subway mask, and the H mask. They're all 3 different. So I thought, okay, that makes sense. But it was interesting where the whole flip on Tara, where it says Tara, our final girl, and I'm like,
the fans.
And then and then the next thing Tara's seeing was it this manic what's the word, hallucinations or visions of the previous
attacks or something like that.
The previous, I got it right here. Let me pull it up.
I'm gonna share the screen. We'll read it out, because
that's even better.
Boy, it was something.
I saw that and I'm like, the only reason I did a video on it is because it was Alamo Drafthouse. I'm like, that's legit business. And then Screen Rant, I'm like, okay, well, that's just 2 different sources now. So I did a video on it last night, but one thing it's funny, because when I first did it, I'm like, this is verified, or not verified, I said confirmed with an exclamation point. Well, after I made the video and I started thinking about it more, I'm like, you know what? Sometimes your spidey senses kind of start to peak up a little bit. And so I went back and changed it to question mark instead of exclamation point. And then
that's all you need.
That's all you need. I got the question marks everywhere. Potential misdirection now is the title.
Yeah.
So I've changed my title even, because I'm beginning to think that this is bogus.
As survivors of the recent attack in Woodsboro travel to New York City for college, Tara, our final girl, begins to experience manic psychological breakdowns while seeing the ghosts of past killers. Meanwhile, her sister Sam attempts to manipulate her by pretending to be Ghostface, but when their plan goes wrong, 3 new mass killers appear on the scene, leaving the questions of who will survive and who will be the final victim left to be answered. Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot going on there. So, like, it starts with her seeing dead people. Then Sam is just messing with her. But then 3 legit killers, their plan goes wrong. What does that even mean? Their plan goes wrong, and then they come out. So Sam probably looks like a fool at that point. You know, it's like, it just doesn't really make sense.
How would that relate to real killers, too? Like, if Sam was this jerk who was going to mess with her sister like that and dress up like Ghostface, how does that relate to real-life killers? How does that bring them into the equation? It just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
I also hate that it says that they're, like, traveling there. I don't think we're going to get this whole montage of them leaving Woodsboro, you know?
Packing up their suitcases and stuff.
Yeah, right. Like, for a fast-paced movie, I'm like, this feels a little out of place, you know? I don't know.
Let's I'm gonna just assume that because we're kind of reacting to it, I won't get hit or anything. Let's watch the thing from their Twitter.
Okay.
It's only like 12 seconds long.
Oh yeah. That was new.
Okay, so yeah, it's just that one little bit. But
Yeah,
that's still
it's
cool though.
Yeah.
It's just Jenna saying it. Now let me see while we're at it. I can try to find the one I saw earlier that had Henry in it. So, what's a good topic to have you guys go? Okay, so if it were to be real, do you have any like patch notes that you would like introduce to try to fix it? Like, would you keep some of the fake synopsis? What would you guys do with it if it was real?
I'd lose a lot of faith in Scream 6.
Yeah.
Like, my other big thing about that is, like, they also admit that there's 3 killers. Like, they would never reveal that in a synopsis. Like, I just don't think they would ever give us that much of what's going on in these movies. Because that's one of the big things. Like, they know they're fans at this point. You know, especially they're playing with us with the marketing a bunch with this new movie. I think 100% they're going to. They wouldn't give us that much. They wouldn't give us that much in a synopsis about exactly how many killers they're going to be. That's supposed to be a big surprise. That's like saying that's almost the equivalent of saying like this character is Ghostface. You know, it's almost that big of a reveal you're spoiling in the synopsis. I just don't see it as being for real. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I probably not. The thing I'm wondering about though is this intentional? Like, is this intentional misdirection and misinformation? Because, you know, I have seen, like, and I'm trying to think of a real life example, and I hate that I can't right now, but I've seen movies before, not Scream at all, because Scream is all about a whodunit. But I have seen movies where they could be this descriptive. It's almost like to a detriment, like because this is really giving away some, if it was true, a lot of information about this plot. I mean, yeah, now 3 killers, but see, I could also see him saying, "Oh, guys, there's 3 killers in this movie," you know. But again, I'm trying hard to play devil's advocate, Jake. Trust me, it's not easy to do.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
I just wonder though, do you guys think it's on? Because look, Alamo is a legitimate business.
Well, Critical Overlord said that they took it from IMDb, so somebody just added it IMDb.
Oh,
so that person could have just been messing with everybody, and then by accident, like, I don't even know how you would plan for something like that to go viral like that. But I mean, you know, add it IMDb, hope somebody picks it up, and then start spreading it, and that's actually exactly what happened, and it worked.
So the poor guy at Alamo, whose job was to set up the Scream 6 stuff in their website, just happened to go there when they had this bogus synopsis. Like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Copy and paste.
Yeah,
oh, that poor guy.
Screen Rant. I think comicbook.com did it too, and it's like, holy God.
Comicbook.com's picked up on it, Alex?
That's the first one I saw. Was comicbook.com, and then Screen Rant was underneath it. Now Screen Rant is above it. Screen Rant writes 50 articles about Scream a week, so I wasn't surprised that they did that. But
they're usually it's usually a theory or it's legit news. You know what I mean? Like this is they're presenting it as this is legit news, and it's they don't typically make that mistake.
Yeah, the article slant was what this now means for Scream. We need to start,
right, and it's what that would completely shift everything I'm thinking about this movie if that was true.
Well, here's the big question though. What's going to happen on March the 10th or 9th, whenever we go, and this happens in the movie? What are we going to do then?
You knock on some wood right now, bro.
Dude, can you imagine if this actually is what happens? I mean, we're dismissing it as misdirection or misinformation. But could you imagine? It's 3 killers, which I still think it is. That could happen.
Yeah.
But if we see Tara getting visions, Sam dressing up, and that's why she has the mask at the end, because she's actually dressing up as Ghostface. Could you guys
listen, man? I got burned with Halloween Ends. I'm not getting burned with this. It's not happening.
Yeah. I don't know. The Sam thing is kind of wild. Again, I don't know. You could do things where she wakes up and she has a knife in her hand. You can go down that road, but
sure.
To go full on, she's messing with her. Is it because it's Halloween? She decides to dress up as Ghostface? What's the reason that she would do that? That goes against the ending of 5, or actually the entirety of 5, of her trying to right the wrongs of. It's her major character development thing, and then you would immediately not do it. It's nuts.
Right. Right. The whole thing was getting these sisters back together, and now it's just actually they're jerks to each other this whole time. It would just be weird.
I will say this though, because the only reason I know this is because of Chris at Discover Montreal was on set at McGill when they were filming, and for 30 minutes he watched them film a scene on the college where Sam and Tara are arguing and yelling at each other, and basically he said there's some point where Tara says something like, get the F away from me, or leave me the F alone, or something like this. And they filmed it multiple takes for half hour. And so it does tie into the one aspect about the sisters, though, is that apparently Sam is smothering Tara.
Yeah.
And Tara is the resentful towards her, and to the point where she's telling her she was screaming at her to get the F away from me.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be this tension, I think it's not. It's a tension rooted in love and care, right? Not necessarily, because if you're going to dress up as Ghostface to try to help your sister break free from her visions, first of all, that seems really twisted in and of itself. Be like, hey, surprise, it's just me. It's okay. I don't get that. But I do think we're going to see the two of the sisters kind of going at each other quite often in this movie.
Yeah. Actually, one thing we continue to float right by is that Tara literally sees the dead Ghostface killers. So cameos galore. That would be wild.
That would be awesome. You could have. Just think about this. Let's be honest, Jake. Because I gotta ask you this, because we hadn't talked about this yet either, Jake. So this is new for all of us. So would it not be cool though if we saw all the OG Ghostface back in flashback nightmare sequences, where we see Stu, Billy, Roman, Mickey, heck, man, Debbie Salt, everybody.
A lot of CG. Be a lot of CG.
Yeah, there would be a lot of CG.
Yeah.
Oh, they'd be super quick flashes. They take the mask off for half a second, then it goes away.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that not be cool though? I mean, guys, if we had a movie where we saw all of the Ghostface killers in one movie.
Is one of those things where they would totally do that without a doubt. That would I could if you told me right now, you're oh, that happens, I've seen the movie, this happens at the end or something, I'd believe it. I would totally believe that would be something they would do. But I just I really don't want this movie to feel like it's just fan service the movie, and I'm already starting to get worried about that. And like with the addition of Kirby, they're telling us like, oh no, Kirby's back. You know, like she has a big role in this movie. It's not just fan service. That I'm still worried about that though. You know what I mean? I don't want her to just show up and she's just completely pointless, and they waste Hayden Panettiere just to be like, I'm back. Let's go. You know, I don't know. I think they could very easily incorporate her into the story and give her something to do. And I just feel the same way about that and the Billy Loomis stuff from the last movie. Like I loved seeing Skeet Ulrich back. It was awesome. But at the end of the day, it didn't really serve the plot. Like it was there for fan service. It was there to show you, hey, Skeet's back, you know? And it was cool. I
liked it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool. It was cool. It was like a crazy reveal first time I saw it.
I think over time it may get better because again, not to ever slight Scream 3. Sometimes people get confused when I say it. Like they want Billy to be the center. So I think there's a way. I'm actually slightly on Steven's side. It is fan service. Like it was 100% kind of meant for that. But I did like it. And I think over time with this movie, having Billy be like that center glass one, right? Like he's the center of it all. It's him because it's his lineage with Sam. I think there's a way you can make it not so weird that like, you know what I mean? That you did it. Hopefully that's the plan. Hopefully that's the plan. Let's read. We appreciate everybody watching. If you have any questions, let us know. I know I saw one for a Scream game, which I will get to. But let's just read some of it. They obviously know so little. They mixed up Tara and Sam. You could read it literally as simple as that, as they didn't know. Tara kind of sounds like what Sam would be and vice versa, and that they just went with it, you know?
And they kind of mixed up like their character traits too.
They did,
like,
they did. Like
I feel like like the whole idea of like them having visions of killers, that was Sam literally had that in the last movie. Like, so now Tara's doing that now too. What, you know? It's
Tara may like weird. Wake up and she sees a hospital or something, if anything, or just like stab wounds over and over.
Or does that mean Tara dresses up as Ghostface?
It was
and trying to manipulate because it says Sam does, but if they flipped it, could it be that
then Tara was digging into her sister who has a mental issue. Yes. And Tara would dress up as Ghostface to mess with her. What a sister. What a great person.
Like why would I root for that person? That's awful, you know?
Yes.
All right.
Collider also wrote an article about the synopsis. You have to keep in mind that they also immediately said the names of the characters are Allison, David, Carly, and Gabe, which we know is false.
Because it's not David, it's Danny, right? Like a lot of them were like close that we thought for a long time, but it's like, oh, actually they're this instead.
I still don't know half of their supposed to be names, which is honestly, good, you know. I'll get to Johnny's comment in a second. One thing that Jake had mentioned earlier about it, this is it's new. This is something that's we're excited for. I feel like we just know so little, even though we have like from the trailer roughly the same amount of like visual information, like time. But we know like next to nothing about, I don't even know half the character names. It can go so many different ways. You can look, I know there was a question about Mindy on the ladder. Like there's not a definitive way that goes based off the trailer. But in 5's trailer, you knew certain things had to happen a certain way. And you probably knew when. Like you knew Amber on fire. You could see it's Stu's house. So it's the end. You could see Sydney, her hair, so what I mean? Like you can really place it. You can't really place this movie too well.
Yeah, I really don't have a read on the killer. I think that's my thing that I'm the happiest about. I've got like 3 people in my mind where I'm like, out of these 3 people, I think at least one of them is the killer. But like last time I was like, it's definitely Richie and somebody else. Like that was my thing after the trailer. I'm like, definitely Richie, definitely one other person. And I was, So that makes me happy with this marketing. Hopefully they don't release another trailer where you can see somebody's hair pop up and it's very obviously them getting stabbed. So I don't know.
Nobody burning on fire, please. Yeah, that Amber fire scene, that clinched it for me. I'm like, especially when we saw, like Alex said, on the left side of that image is Sydney Prescott.
Yeah.
And you can see her jacket, her brown hair. So clearly that's a Ghostface killer because Sydney's in the kitchen. And I'm like, there's no way that's not a Ghostface killer, right? I mean, they weren't in costume, but so you couldn't say like 100% certainty. Yeah. But I'm like 90%.
You could question why somebody's on fire in a kitchen, though. You could wonder that.
True.
I don't normally stop by here, but gotta say I'm ready for a new Nightmare. Hope you all seen the new Freddy trailer. It looks excellent for what it is. Cloud Roth, hello. and okay, this was the Mindy thing. What do you guys think happens during the scene where Mindy is climbing that ladder? So I know we've kind of gone back and forth of trying to place it. Jake, I don't know if I've ever heard your thoughts on it. So you got that scene. We have the room before. You got Devin right there.
Yeah.
You got Mindy walking in on potentially somebody no longer living, but a lot of people truly believe it's a fake out, which is interesting. So where do you stand on that whole scene?
So I think somebody dies in the scene prior, and that's why they're even on the ladder in the first place. Because, when I exit a tall building, I take the stairs. Me personally. I mean, maybe not everyone else does that, but yeah. So if they're on this ladder trying to get to another building, my guess is they're trapped in this apartment or whatever with Ghostface. They're trying to get out. There's blood in the background in the trailer that we see. So someone else dies, but then we see Devin Nakata's. Is her name Anika? I think if I'm remembering correctly, yep. She's all the way at the other end, and then we see Mindy crossing. Everyone is saying Mindy's gonna die here. I don't think so. I think it's a total fake out. I think she makes it across. Devin then goes on the ladder. Ghostface comes over, brings his knife down into the windowsill, and just kind of does that with the ladder until she falls off. I think that would be a crazy death and something that we don't typically see in these movies. I mean, like, sure, CC Cooper, fell off of the balcony in 2, but this looks like it's a higher drop.
Yeah,
it is
much higher.
I hate to say just that little amount would impress me a lot, but it would. Honestly, it would. I would love to see something a kill like that happen opposed to just another knife kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is, I believe, the 4th story. So it's like 4 stories high instead of 2. It's like twice the height.
Twice the height.
CC.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty high up there. And so, yeah, you get the feeling like I can almost picture kind of like, remember Scream 2 when Sydney gets through the front seat of the car and then Haley, her roommate, comes through and we're just sure Haley's going to get it, but she doesn't at that point. I could see this being similar. So basically, you've got Mindy. She'll make it. I'll be like, ooh, okay, good. And then there's this new character, Nika, right, at the end, she's the last one to get on the ladder. I can see her going across. All of a sudden, here comes Ghostface. No, it's like, run, hurry. I can't go any faster. And then Ghostface slams the knife down, Jake, just like you said, grabs that ladder, and then poor Nika is gone. 4 stories to her death. I think that's probably what's going to happen. Yeah.
What do you guys think about the potential person in the tub? You think for sure gone, or you think?
I personally do.
Okay.
I will say, feels very Roman from Scream.
That's
3.
what people keep telling me. They said Roman, and I mean, it's possible.
And what's the one that's the only death they showed across the trailers, really? Like the only big one. Like,
yes.
I mean, obviously, like the store clerk or whatever in the bodega, but like
right.
of the main characters, that's the only one we saw. And it feels very early movie because we don't see a whole lot of Tony Revolori in the rest of the trailer and all that. So honestly, I could see them doing a fake out death where it's like he comes back later, but maybe opposed to doing it at the start of the 3rd act, like how they do in 3. Maybe it's the part of the opening kill. And someone gets to see it or something, and it's like, oh my god, what? Like, oh god, this guy's dead, and then he comes back for the 3rd act or something. I wouldn't be against something like that, but I do like picking out the killer throughout the entire movie, and then it's like, oh, it was him, So I don't know. It's one of those things. I'm not against it, but I'd have to see it first before I can really judge it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's real. Just my opinion. I think it's probably a real kill, and I mean, dude, look, it's dedication to get naked, dude. I mean, this individual is like declothed in this. I'm like, it's one thing to be Roman in the freezer with your clothes on. This is like dedication, bro. But I mean, it could be, sure, it could be, but I don't know, man. I think that precedes the whole ladder scene. That's kind of what I think. That's probably what happens. I don't know. But
that makes sense. Yeah.
They find that individual, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta go!" And then all of a sudden, Ghostface is at the front door or something, or whatever. And then they got to find an alternate way out.
And we saw that scene in the trailer too. With Ghostface at the door, like that could all be one scene theoretically. So that would make a lot of sense. That's probably the most likely scenario for sure. But I am looking for that weird twist. There's gonna be something about this. They're saying that Ghostface is different. They did it last time, but I'm really feeling it this time, guys. I'm feeling
You're
it
honest
here.
this time, right?
Yeah, honestly, something's different, and maybe it's that Ghostface gets naked this time. I don't know. Listen, man, I'm open minded here.
I mean, you never know. It's New York.
I love the line, as like cliched as it is, and you imagine this has happened like in other film franchises where you have to kind of say it, but it kind of goes back and forth because it's like it's a cool line, even though it's kind of we've heard it before, but also I feel like it gets people really going. I think that's kind of maybe even the negative of it. Like you have to almost do it. Is you're on the 6th one, you're calling it 6 again, which goes in the face of 5, but whatever. You're calling it 6. So you're going to have the people that say, oh my God, this movie's still happening. This is still going on. And they say, well, no, this time it's different. But then it's like, all right, well, if it's really different, well, then fans kind of go nuts, right, with the theories. And then it ends up being different, but like not that different. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of that middle, and that'll upset people. You know what I mean? So what do you think, I guess, off the jump kind of answer, what do you think it is that is different? Why did they say that line?
I just hope it's something big. I hope they take a big risk, something ambitious with this movie. And you're totally right. Like a lot of people will hate it. A lot of people will hate them doing something big and different like that. But I think every movie from a structure standpoint flows through the same format, just trying to do exactly what one did again. And I just think if they're ever going to try to attempt to make a movie that is maybe better than 1, I don't think that is what we got here in 6. But if they're going to try that out, the only route for success, in my opinion, is to deviate, is to do something that's not exactly the same formula-wise. And this feels like the first movie that's going to do that. It's going to have a faster pace. We're not going to slow down after a kill or something like that. Maybe we just keep going throughout one whole night. And this could be the movie to challenge the original. I don't think it'll be better personally, but I think it'll be an easy number 2 if it's successful in its very ambitious outlooks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it definitely has the potential to. I think it's absolutely going to blow away 5. I think that it has a real chance to leap way ahead of 5. And I don't know where it's going to rank for me. Of course, none of us really know until we see it, obviously. But I think the potential's there for it to move up the ladder in the sequels for me as well. So that's exciting to see. And I think that, it needs to be different. And, like I said earlier, or not today, but I've said before, just remember this. If you're one, whoever you are, whether no matter if you're listening, watching, or a content creator, if we or you have ever asked for something different and they do it, then don't crucify them for being different. Okay? Now, you don't have to like it, but at least be prepared to say, you know what? I respect them for trying something new. Hats off. They swung. They swung for it. Now, I mean, if it lands for you or not, that's another story. But and it takes me back to Scream 3, the movie I will defend till my day I die, because I love that movie, and it's beat up way too much. And the voice changer has taken so much crud over the last 20 years about the voice changer. I'm like, well, you know what? They did something new, different, unique. It was cool. And they got beat up for it constantly. And I'm like, you know what? Be consistent. If either you want something new, and of course, there's a whole other story, Alex, behind that voice changer, which I found out about recently, that Wes actually had the prop master. He wouldn't do it unless there was some form of that workability. And so the prop team, JP and the prop team, they actually went back and were able to get like 5 voices on a card inserted into the device. And they showed it to Wes, and Wes was like, okay, it's at least plausible that we could do this. And then, of course, he followed up by saying, if I wanted to make movies about real life, I'd make documentaries. And so Wes said, so my point of it is this, guys. If we are going to be ones that ask for new, and I think we all are, new surprises, let's be prepared that whether we like the results or not, let's at least be consistent in saying, good job for trying, right? I don't want to be one of those guys that talks out of both sides of your mouth. Try to be consistent in your view, no matter what the results. That's
super true. I 1000% back that up. That if this movie's bad,
right.
You have to differentiate. Whether it actually goes for it, or if that's the issue. If it's bad because they went for it, well, you could focus on like what actually went bad. But I think the premise of going nuts, like going for something bold, that's not the problem. And that's what, like you said, that's what we've all been asking for. So yeah, I really hope people don't do that. I think enough people want it to change. I think easily too, you look at like the trailer and stuff. Again, you look at the people that say, oh, this movie's still going on. Like the people that don't watch them. And they're like, they're making 6 of them. Those people, you probably want to tell them, no, this one legitimately, you may not like it, but this one really went nuts for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And that may help it, even if it is bad. From people that don't care.
My big thing is when I say that I need Scream to do something different is my thing with Scream 3 is it goes down a route that I've always felt like that was always more fun when it was in the background. Like Scream 2, I think does the humor element really well. It's not in your face, but seeing Luke Wilson in a Billy Loomis wig, that's hilarious. But it's not like in your face, like this is supposed to be funny. You know what I mean? It's one of it's like a blinker you'll miss it kind of joke. And Scream 2 does that with a nice like subtle approach. Scream 3 is in your face with the comedic aspect the whole time. And I just never felt like that was the best route for them to go with a sequel. Because like every horror franchise does that. Well, not every, but most of them get goofier or more ridiculous as they go along. Scream already started in a place where it was a little goofy, a little fun. So why not take it down this darker route? And Scream 6 appears to be doing that. So like as these movies go along, they get less goofy and less silly and all that. And they just they get darker and darker and darker with the motives. And it seems like we're seeing that here in Scream 6, and it's a good direction for the franchise because Scream has never been like the scariest franchise ever, in my opinion. I love it. I know that's why you like it, Alex. But I've just always felt that this franchise could get darker because it is a great premise. It's a great idea for a horror movie. So let's take it down that route. Let's see what happens when we make Ghostface this like scarier than Jason Voorhees. What happens then? Right. I'm hoping to get an answer here in a month.
If it's too scary, I'll just hold on to my wife's hand or something. I'll shield my eyes. I want to answer this because I'm so into games, and you got to put your money where your mouth is. What would your dream Scream game look like? Okay, so let me pitch mine. I do want to hear from you guys. I want you two to come up with something that you would want. So I've said it before, so I'll just do like a recap. I would do a Telltale, which is the makers of The Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us, and so episodic. It'd be like a weekly episode, so kind of like Scream TV basically, and you would have maybe 4 or 5 episodes, and it's a choose your own kind of thing. So dialogue options come. Ghostface calls. You answer the phone. You're a new character. I wouldn't want them necessarily to copy. Just tell one again, and you pick. They give you 4 options, and you answer of those 4. Branching paths. You maybe can save people. You maybe can have people die. That I'm not actually a fan of doing the multiplayer, where one's Ghostface, then there's 8 survivors. Every single game is doing that. Literally, Killer Clowns from Outer Space is doing that. The only thing that differentiates them is that they changed the number. So like Killer Clowns is like 7v4 or something like ridiculous, where it's like I've never heard of a game to do that. So I would take it more of a story, literally go down the story road, do a episodic, you make decisions, you can save people, you can have people die, branching paths. That's what I would do.
I love that because I played so much Dead by Daylight and like Friday the 13th, the game. And I love those games. They're awesome. But like I've played those games so much. And I think that's been my biggest deterrent from like, oh, I got to buy the new Texas Chainsaw like day one. Because it's just the same game, but with better graphics and probably easier gameplay, whatever. And I'm sure they're going to be fun. Like I'm sure all these games are going to be really fun. But I'm just hoping that if they were to do like a Scream game, it would be something different like that, where it's almost like an RPG. Like you're this new, you create your own character and you got to figure out who Ghostface is. Or you could play Ghostface.
I was thinking that as I was pitching it, you could play Ghostface and still choose your own thing, let people survive and stuff. But
you have to hide in plain sight. Like that would be so cool. I would love that.
Yeah.
I love it. I love these ideas. I'm with you. I've been playing a lot, and Alex, this because I always say this on my channel. Alex is a great friend. He is my gaming he is my gaming guru. All right. And so if there's anything, because I'm not a huge gamer, but I'm more of a gamer since I've known Alex than before. And I will text Alex. I'll be like, dude, question for you. And he'll just he'll just light me up with all of the information. So thanks to Alex, we have now finished. I say my daughter and I together finished The Quarry. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, nice.
That was a good game. And then Alex turned me on to the one we're playing now, Until Dawn.
Yes.
Yes.
Hayden.
Oh,
Dude,
so
I
good.
like it better than The Quarry,
Yeah.
personally. And it's an older game.
Yeah.
But it's a really fun game, dude. And so we're working through that now. And so what I would want to see is I would want to see this team get together and make a Scream game, which very much mirrors what y'all have already said. You get to pick, whether you're a Ghostface or one of these new characters, and you answer the phone. Your answer determines, victims, outcomes, all this stuff. And then at the end of the day, there comes an option where you have to pick who it is.
Ooh.
It's a whodunit. You have to select, I don't know how you would work it all out, but basically the thing culminates with a where you have to pick who the killer is and stuff. It'd be so much fun, man.
Yeah, I think it would work. The team that makes those games, Until Dawn, The Quarry, that team would be probably my number 2. Telltale, which is pretty much the same thing on a smaller, little bit more cartoony looking thing, visual style, what I actually really like. That would be like my go-to, but same kind of premise. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would not do 1v8. Your Ghostface, you can pick, Predator, what Jake said, Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw, Killer Clowns. There's 4 right there. I think it said Friday the 13th. There's so many. We don't need Scream to do it. But you know what? I honestly think because of Killer Clowns, we may get a Scream game, but then I do think it probably is a multiplayer like that. I think they just followed the trend. You know what I mean?
See, that doesn't work with the movies though. It work all of the slasher villains. That totally works. You could make that you could do that with Hellraiser. You could do that with all of them if you really wanted to. It doesn't really work with Scream because that's not really what Scream's all about. It's more about the mystery and trying to uncover who the killer is. Yeah, it would feel out of place,
Yeah. I think it'd be cool if one of the friends dressed up as Ghostface just because they can't read the room, but not Sam. Maybe Jack Champion. Yeah, Jack Champion does seem like the naive person that could look at it as a joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fun to play into.
Destination Station. What's up, good sir?
Hey, Destin.
There we go.
Let's see. Jack Champion is Ghostface, I still think. What do you guys where do you Jake, you said you have kind of 3 in your head. Where does Jack line up in both of your investigations? How high?
Alex, at this point at a joke, I want to make a video on every single character being Ghostface and why they would do it. I just think it would be really fun because I made one on Kirby recently and I had a blast coming up with a theory on how would she become Ghostface in this new movie. This is maybe my least suspicious character, Jack Champion. Okay. Everyone is so down on him. I see him being a mid-movie death personally.
What do you think, Steven?
Yeah, Jack, I think it may just be my innate desire to see a Ghostface killer not be 5'1" and 89 pounds. I don't want him to be a killer. So I think because of that, I just, in my mind, I'm blocking all chances of him being a Ghostface killer. But I will say this. I've heard a lot of people, like Jake said, a lot of people seem to be on that train of Jack. I don't know. I think I see him being a victim too. I really don't think it's going to be a killer in this movie. Now I know that I do believe there are 3 killers. But forget the new synopsis, which probably is bogus, as we all agree now. Regardless of that, I've been calling for 3, and I know Jake, all of us, I think, have been wanting at least 3 killers. I still think there will be 3. So it's not impossible to have someone involved like Jack, but I don't know, man. I just don't buy it. I think that what's interesting about Jack, though, I will say this, is that we found out when he got hired and casted, he began following Matthew Lillard on Twitter. And I've always found it interesting of why all of a sudden is he following Matthew Lillard now, not before? So I don't know if that means he's going to be a mocker or have some connection. Could just be that he was, wants to know all the people in Scream. But I'm going to say Jack is a red herring. Yeah.
Yeah, he's tough. He's very tough to read.
Yeah.
Several of them. Liana even is very tough to read. Like, how much is she actually in the movie?
Yeah.
One thing, I love this idea. I've seen this floating around, the whole Gale thing. Gale's scene is the last scene in the movie where he thinks leaving it on a cliffhanger. I've seen this be spread around. Do you think it's possible, and would you like that to happen?
Yes to a cliffhanger, no to the Gale phone call at the end. And I'm not against someone coming after it. Like if you want that to be the scene, it's like Gale gets attacked or chased or something. Maybe she's going to work after a week or something, and she's getting chased in the newsroom or something. Okay, I'm into that, but I want to see the phone call happen mid-movie, man. Like that's one of the things I'm the most excited for going into this movie, and I hope we get a whole chase that ends with hopefully not her dying, and she gets out alive. I want that to be a whole chase. I don't want that to get cut on a cliffhanger or something, because I've wanted to see that scene since Scream 2 when she was supposed to get the phone call and all that, and Randy took it instead. So
where do you think that
crossed.
scene is placed in the movie, though?
I really think like beginning of the second act, like if that makes sense. Like I think our core 4 characters are going to be introduced to Ghostface rather quickly. Like they're going to get, oh my God, we're hanging out with all our friends or something. Ghostface is coming after us. Oh God, we got to go. Maybe that's what the scene with the ladder is, because we're getting right into this apparently. I'm thinking after that's when Gale gets dragged into it as well. And it's going to be one of those movies where in the second act, everyone kind of comes together and it's like, oh, it's happening again. We gotta go. We gotta get out of here. Yep. And that's how we find the shrine and all that. I'm really thinking that's the introduction to it, because Gale doesn't seem all freaked out on the phone. Like she's like, okay, you're the 10th guy to try this, right? Like she doesn't seem as freaked out as Gale in a third act of one of these movies yet.
That's a good point. I agree. I think that this does happen earlier in the movie because her demeanor. Like, think about this. If this happened at the end of the movie, after she's been engaged with the shrine and all this stuff, I think it would be a little more different. I think it would be different. I think the way she's acting is kind of nonchalant. And I think that what if the bodega scene happens, what I believe to be the opening kill of Samara Weaving happens in that alley, and then all the opening stuff is going on, and then she gets a phone call, like, again, it's almost simultaneously, like, while this is happening. She doesn't even know anyone's been attacked yet. She's just like, here's a random Ghostface calling her, and she's kind of like blowing it off, like you said. You're like the 10th guy to try this, like, whatever. And then of course it turns into something much more serious as her boyfriend, friend, bodyguard, whoever gets obviously gets like
UPS killed. Delivery guy, whatever.
Delivery guy,
Wrong place, wrong time.
Wrong time. Delivering a bed, furniture, whatever. He gets killed and thrown through the bookcase, and we know. And then of course we get the knife swipe, the blood. So I think that whoever that character is, they're going to be a side character. We don't even know them. They're I think coincidental character.
Yeah.
And then she realizes this is real. She's shooting guns. She's shooting. She's taking shots through her front door or side doors. So it all becomes real. And as Jake said, I believe it will be correct. It'll all accumulate with them coming together at the police station. And they're all there. And she's like, well, you were attacked too? You were attacked too? Or something like that. And then all, breaks loose the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? I had mentioned this when I talked about Tara in a video. What do you think about their shirts? Jack's shirt, the history of Scream points to it. I know, the Tara thing has been something that has done, I think people want, us to talk about, and I've done videos. And the one Tara shirt, I think when she leaves the bodega, the white one, very Jill-like.
Very.
So, do you read into the clothing at all?
I mean, like, I totally see what you're saying. I mean, like, what Jack Quaid was wearing a plaid shirt in the last one too, right? Like, there's a lot going on there. I could see that being the case, but I see him being a red herring. They're making a point, like Radio Silence. they have gotten a lot of hate for the last movie, which I think is unfortunate. But they know their shit when it comes to Scream, man. Like they know what they're doing, and they know that this is going to be a different movie. So I think like every trope established in the past movies are gonna get flipped on their heads, like the little stuff, like the shirts, like the plaid shirt. That's going to be for the red herrings this time around. I think for like just I'm trying to think like another little tiny thing that every Scream movie does that it's like it's mostly in the background, but it's there. Those are going to get flipped on its head in this movie. They're going to make a point to do that, to show that we can do something different. We can make this not the same flavor as all of the other movies. That's just my thinking. I don't know how in depth they'll go with that concept, but we're going to get a taste of that here. And I my prediction right now is that that's the route that they're going with that, but. You know, once again, maybe he's the killer. Maybe that's the whole unprecedented thing. You're not expecting it to be Tara's maybe boyfriend or something.
Oh man, well, and imagine if it's Tara and Jack together. You know, that both shirts ended up being true. The Jill shirt.
And that would go to
the Jack shirt.
This one, Doc Martin platforms. You'd have to wear different things. Yeah, it's tough. Like I agree with what Jake's saying. I think they know what they're doing. I think they know any of those small little Easter eggs where it's like people that wear this kind of clothing item tends to be
Yes.
I think they know that. Whether they care to break the trend or they're gonna lean, you know, I mean, that's the question, I suppose.
Yeah.
Let's see. I saw another good question we'll get to, but when do you think we'll get confirmation for a Scream 7? Or does it depend on 6's success, or has it already been planned from 5? What do you guys think?
I'm going to go 4 weeks after the movie comes out.
Yeah, yep. Same.
Early
April.
Exactly
the same. Yeah. Because they don't want us to start thinking about it yet. You know what I mean? Like, they want us to stay focused on 6. Like, because my running theory was that they already knew they were going to do a 6 before 5 even came out. And I got a feeling the same thing's happening here. Why that is, I once again could be a cliffhanger. Maybe they don't want us to know that there's more coming until don't worry, you know, cliffhanger's gonna get resolved. You know, they want the fans to maybe stew in that anger for a couple of weeks so that people are talking. That's all that matters.
Yeah, what kind of stew
in it? Ooh, I like that.
Oh man,
oh dear,
I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful with those words, man.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be quick. I think it's going to be, like I say, 4 weeks later. Movie's still in theaters. And guess what, guys? What? We're getting to 7. No. Yeah, I told you. I think it's been planned since day one. And the reason I'm convinced of that is because they leased the production offices in Montreal on January 12th, 2 days before Scream 5 was released. They had already secured the locations in Montreal. So that tells me they're already months ahead. They're working ahead already.
And they could like film it later this year, theoretically, if they already have a script in the can. They could film it this fall and then have it ready for the end of 2024 or something like that.
The biggest thing to that is, when does Jenna film Wednesday season 2? Right? There's all the talk of that's got to be this year. I also kind of imagine that's the fall, you know? So
is she going to be in the next one though?
Yeah. Will she? Oh my God. Will she be? Well, that leads us to the next thing.
Will she
Where
survive?
do you guys stand on the core for who do you think will die? Personally, I think Tara will die, keeping Sam and both the twins alive. I think that's the most gutsy one you could go with, to be flat out honest. And I guess I'd appreciate it. That's where it would make me, with the Steven thing, you said the whole, you know, they're bold, so you can't, you know, go after the boldness. But I mean, if you kill Tara while leaving other people alive, that I'd be very upset. I mean, I don't even know how I would express that into words.
Yeah.
I'd be upset too, but think about how many people were upset back in 1996 when Drew Barrymore died in the first 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, we don't get any of that now. But I guarantee you, like, immediate reviews that night it came out, people were like, I can't believe they killed Drew Barrymore in the first 10 minutes. I guarantee you a good group of the audience that saw it opening night said that exact same thing. I wouldn't be in the least bit shocked if they decided to go that route. Personally, I would be upset. I love Jenna Ortega; she's incredible. But if they do that, it would be.
Who do you think of the 4 makes it?
Of the 4, I think 3 of them make it and 1 of them dies. Like, and that's interchangeable too. My running theory is exactly that, though. That I think they'll kill Tara, but everyone else stays alive. But I definitely see at least 1 of them dying, even if like let's say that gets confirmed. She's signed on for the next movie. One of them's dying. One of them's dying in this movie.
I think you can kind of safely rule Sam out of that group, though, is the issue.
I do too.
When you talk about the 4, I think it's really 3 of them, are the dangerous targets.
That's
now.
true. Yeah,
I think so. I think they've anointed Sam. They're hitched to Sam all the way through 7 at least. So I think Tara. The only reason I'm concerned about Tara in this movie is because of Jenna Ortega's status. But my thought is, with her rising fandom and stardom, that's the one you want to keep in there. That's who's gonna, you're talking about box office sales, man. That's and so I would hope that they've already negotiated her for 7 and it's done. But we don't know that. So that's why there's a wild card for Tara. But I honestly going in, and I think Mindy is going to be the one that dies at the core for the core 4. Just a hunch. Don't know anything else. No other information.
Lock it in.
Yep. I think it's Mindy. Yep. And I wonder if they're not setting us up for that. With the subway scene, they're kind of like, you remember how they did Dewey in the trailer and spent time with Dewey in the hospital attack?
Yeah.
Maybe they're letting us know. Get ready.
You can only go the 2 different ways, right? Like you keep showing Mindy, so it's either Chad, and they're showing Mindy to then deflect, and it's her brother, or they're telling you, it's going to be Mindy, and those are the only 2. I mean, the third way is that you leave the twins alone, but I don't know. I just can't imagine I can't imagine they both make it out alive.
No,
I really can't.
No,
but maybe they know that. Maybe it's that deep. Jake and I were talking about this right before we got on. Don't forget, Radio Silence is filming Escape from New York.
Yes.
Now there's no set plan for that yet, though. Like they got it. It's been announced that they're gonna do it at some point. But let's say they film Scream 7 this year. Then they're done. Then they can start working on Escape from New York literally next year. So that totally lines up in my mind. They could make that happen. Kind of do a similar route to what David Gordon Green's been doing the past couple of years. They made Halloween Ends in a year, not even. What was it, 10 months? And now they're already they've been filming The Exorcist since December. So I could see them doing almost the exact same route where it's let's do a Scream trilogy, then let's do a Escape from New York trilogy next, which I don't think is out of the realm of possibility, even though I feel like maybe we only need one of those movies. But who knows? Who knows?
Well, Steven, I brought this up to Jake and even the chat too. Is there a link, some sort of link between Final Destination? Did some part of them get Final Destination? Was it a writer or something? First, I don't think Radio Silence got Final Destination, but I swore at some point I saw Final Destination is back or will be back, and I thought I thought a writer of theirs was doing something else besides Escape from New York. Maybe it was fake. Maybe I made that up.
Let me see.
I guess the point of just
Guy
being
Busick.
Was it Guy Busick that's going to write?
Yeah, so he's one of the writers. Yeah, so they got Jeffrey Reddick from the original movie, Guy Busick, and Laurie Evans Taylor. Nice. I don't know that last one, but I do know those 2 people. Yes.
Is it common to have that many writers in a film?
Ooh, it doesn't bode well. That's what I'll say.
No, it doesn't.
1 or 2 writers, you don't need any more than that, in my opinion.
Now there's 3 on that one. Well,
yeah.
I was just bringing that up as in they are busy, and I think to Jake's point, you just bam, 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 get it done this year. It comes out late next year, December 2024, Scream 7, done. You hand it off to Not Radio Silence, and they can go on and do whatever. So I feel like in Hollywood, all the money that's going, even actors and stuff, all the money that's going around, they'll fit it in. You know what I mean? They'll find that 4-month segment they need to film the movie.
Yeah. I mean, especially if they do a fall thing, that lines up exactly with what they did for Scream 5. You know what I mean? If they were to film it then, so that would make sense. The location is going to be the big thing for Scream 7, because there's no way we're going back to Woodsboro. There's no way at this point. It's going to be some crazy big setting again.
I don't know, Jake. I don't know about that, buddy.
They're not, bro. I'd bet money on it. We're not going back to Woodsboro.
Well, they even asked Tyler about that in his interview last week, and they're like, what about Woodsboro, and are we done in Woodsboro? And he says we'll never say we're done in Woodsboro, because such an integral part of this franchise. And basically, he said that we don't know where Guy and James want to go next. Like they haven't shared with them. Now, but whether he's telling the truth, who knows? But he says he's saying at least they haven't shared what's next. But obviously, they have something in mind. Now, you may be right. It may not be. It could be some. Who knows? It could be Los Angeles on a Stab 10 set. Could be.
Stab 10.
Like mirroring Scream 3.
They're totally gonna do that too.
Oh yeah, I can see them doing their version of Scream 3 on the sound stages, and so yeah, it could be something like that. But I don't know. There's a part of me, I just think we're gonna see them back in Woodsboro for another movie in the next couple of movies, and maybe it's not 7. I think it could be though, especially if they get Sydney back. But we'll see. I mean, maybe they're gonna go to Chicago, where Sydney lives, and
it's already set up. Like it's
already
set up, dude. We're going to Chicago and Scream 7. And here's my other thing about that too. Like one of the big draws to Scream 6, like the biggest thing that people are excited about is the New York setting. Like that is gonna give this movie this crazy character that the other ones just don't have. As much as I do crap on Scream 3 sometimes, it does have a certain Hollywood flavor to it that none of the other movies have, and it's the only movie you can get that flavor in this whole franchise. I love that about Scream 3. It's a great addition to it. Settings can be a very important character in your movie if you play them right. So if you were to do a Chicago setting, there's a lot you can play around with there environmentally.
What's both of your over-under on Welcome to New York being on the soundtrack? I put it as yes. I think it needs to.
That would be great, man.
I've seen it floating around, and I saw one tweet where it said like opening kill, and then you have like an overhead camera and you start playing the song. I think it works probably as good as you can ever imagine. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Absolutely. How about a little Frank Sinatra? New York, man. Let's go.
Trying to see if anything else sticks out. Steven, did you ever answer the who do you think of the core 4 part?
Yeah, for me, I'm going to go ahead and go with Mindy. Yeah.
Now, do you guys think there's any carryover characters of new characters in this one that could make it for 7?
Oh, yes, but I don't have a read on that at all. Like, I got nothing.
You think they do it though? Because like I always go to 2 for I go to 2 for the reason of they actually eliminated characters, right? You go into 2 with Randy, you have 4 of them. You actually go into 3 with only 3 of them. So that would also be new, is to introduce a character in the middle film and have them. In which case, I feel like you almost have to kill 2 of the 4. But I mean, then you have Kirby and Gale, so that kind of extends the group. Maybe 2 of the 6 need to go, and you replace them just with 1, so you have 5 instead of 6 going into it.
Well, I think we lose one of the core 4, and then I think Kirby. Honestly, I'm afraid Kirby's not going to make it. And when I saw that trailer scene with Sam holding Kirby's gun, I said, shoot. Now, it doesn't mean she's dead. I know that. But I don't think it looks good for Kirby. So I think we lose Kirby, dude. I think they're going to kill her in the 3rd act. Yeah.
I think Kirby's a goner one way or another, Ghostface or not. I think she's done in this one. And I've already seen discourse about that, but like, this is a horror movie at the end of the day, man. Like, you can't expect there to be like 6-7 survivors every single time. I want this to be a bloodbath too. Like, if we're gonna make a point that this is Dark Scream, don't give me 6 survivors. You know what I mean? That's gonna kind of go against that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we all have our favorites, and we all want everyone to live. But as Jake said, this is a horror movie, and all I've ever heard, like, I can't stand that Dewey died. And I know a lot of people love that he died, and I get it. And look, it's fine. It's cool. I personally just don't. And I don't think we had to do that. But it's done. And one of the reasons that I hear people praising that decision was because they finally radio silence said, hey, look, all bets are off. See, anyone can die now. It's not safe. If they come around in this movie and all the core 4 survive, and Kirby survives, and Gale, then they basically, that whole argument about how they've elevating the danger is gone. It's just gone out the window.
That's kind of where I'm at too. The Dewey thing being what it was, but a separate point from that is that you let the other two originals go in a crazy sequence with Richie and Amber. You let the two final girls go, and then you also do 2 fake out deaths. So it's not even just Dewey. You could have eliminated both Mindy and Chad. I don't know how that would have went, but you could have done that. So I very much. But see, the thing is, if you eliminate Kirby, I think that's what you said. You eliminate Kirby and you keep the core 4. I don't know. I have some issues with that. If you kill Kirby, one of those 4, and again, I have to maybe I have to stop saying that because Sam is not. So one of Tara, Mindy, Chad has to die, and Kirby. It can't just be if Kirby's your big death in this movie. You didn't read the room for 5.
I agree.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think both happens though. I think Kirby and one of the core 4 dies. And like that's the high stakes of this movie. You have to do something like that or we're going to start getting back into that safety zone that we kind of had in like Screams 2, maybe not Scream 2. Scream 3 is a better example. Where it's like, okay, no, they're not going to kill any of the main characters, you know? Scream 3 and 4 it feels a little more safe opposed to like Scream 5 or Scream 2. So I totally agree. Kill one of them in the core 4, kill Kirby, keep Gale alive, please. Please keep Gale alive.
Please do.
How would you do like a mock thing of Kirby? Like how could you see it happening? I did see one comment to Steven's point of the gun. She could be Ghostface, so that's why she has the gun.
Right.
But how would you do it? I guess then you could choose the path of maybe she is. I mean, the Ghostface thing is really interesting. I want to do a video on that just because so many people bring it up. I mean, like you could do crazier things. I suppose it wouldn't be the most crazy, so I kind of don't hate it. I just don't see it happening. But what would you guys do with Kirby for a death?
So I don't see it. Like I kind of agree with you. I don't think it's like the most likely thing to happen, but I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Because it's been so long since we've seen her.
Yeah,
and that's
not
the only
Sydney's
reason.
the killer thing. Like Sydney's gonna snap and be Ghostface. It's not that 30-year longer than Scream existed. That's how long the argument is. It's not that. It's it could happen because of age and the time that's gone by, and we don't know a lot about her. It's way more believable than Dewey's the killer. It's like, oh my dear God.
Well, I think the big thing with that is like if you say this character is going to be Ghostface, I think the immediate thing that people think is they're like, well, why would this person want to get revenge on somebody? But that's not like Ghostface doesn't always have to be getting revenge on this or whatever. Like the last 2 movies are a testament to that. Like maybe it's something else. Maybe Kirby has genuine good intentions to kill somebody, but she's going about it the absolute wrong way. Yeah. Like maybe she is an FBI agent and she can't find any dirt on these people who are just really bad and she wants to go and kill them. There are so many reasons for someone like that to go and start murdering people, and it would be really kind of messed up and cool to see in a new Scream movie that for 3 of these movies have done the same boiled down revenge plot line. Essentially, it's a little different each time, but it is just revenge at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, the whole vigilante angle has always been interesting to me because we've got so many cops in this movie. We've got Kirby as FBI, we've got Dermot Mulroney as a detective, which, by the way, Detective Bailey, which we also know we think his daughter, which is Leona Liberado's character, his last name is Bailey. And Dermot revealed back in June that he gets involved because his daughter is a victim of Ghostface. So if Leona is that daughter, if we're just, assuming it for now, then Leona Liberato dies early. Her character dies early in this movie because that's what gets Dermot in, Detective Bailey in. But the point is, you've got a father potentially who's a detective, whose daughter's gone, has been eliminated. And then you've got Kirby with her history in FBI. There's a lot of room for a vigilante Ghostface. Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but and actually, I think I do, Jay, because we've talked about it on the collective. But and that bodega scene, whoever that aged Ghostface mask is, who's wearing it, looks mature, in control, confident, and tactical. All of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's a totally different vibe from past Ghostfaces. Like I
Totally.
can already feel that from the trailer. You know, like you're definitely onto something there. Like there really is something different about this Ghostface, and they're not just saying it this time. Like it's somebody who has some kind of experience or something. I don't know. Like I don't fucking know, but probably.
And don't you think? And
Yep.
I mean, that does implicate, I would say, somebody with training. So then you either have
Yes.
Dermot or Kirby, which is tough. But yeah, the way they dodge, they duck at the. I mean, it's so split. But I've always talked about, I want to see a Ghostface to do hand-to-hand kind of combat. That's like my dream. So maybe I'm honestly going to get that in this film by accident.
You could. You surely could. Yep.
Let's see. I don't think I've heard either of you talk about. I think Steven and I, maybe when the trailer first came out, we were trying to. Where's your read on the video that's playing with Sam? I saw that tweet that people were saying nobody's talking about this picture, but what's playing? It's like, no, people have talked about that picture. You know?
You want to hear my little scoop on this? Well, it's not really scoop. It's not a scoop. That's the wrong word. My theory. Excuse me.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, that was nice and
clear out the barn, man.
Gotta get clear the pipe. Sorry, couldn't hit my mute button fast enough. So here's the thing: if you go back and watch that screen, in fact, I don't know, Alex, if you have it or not. If you have the image of Sam holding the gun, and the screen behind her, if that's one you can find while I'm talking, let me know. If you look at that closely, look in the right hand of the ghost face on the screen. And I'm telling you right now, if you look at it, and maybe you'll see it differently than me. That's why I want to get your thoughts. It looks like they're holding the Scream 3 voice changer in their hand. It's like up here in this area, and it's silver in the middle. And which is what grabbing my attention is that silver voice changer. And it's circular. And I'm telling you right now, guys, that if we could find a picture, it is. I want your thoughts, because I'm beginning to believe that is okay. Look, there you go. I know it's now. Look, you see the silver in the middle by the right cheek.
Kind of thing?
Yeah, go down just right there. Yes, right there.
Like in the hand, yeah.
In the hand.
I see what you're saying.
That could be Ghostface holding this hand up to his mouth. There's the silver voice changer. What do you guys think about that, man? That's my newest theory.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I've always wondered, because people will say, is it some sort of like stock footage? Like, what is it? Why is it? Who recorded it? Who is that? When is that?
Mm-hmm.
You can't see. Like, didn't somebody say maybe those are stairs next to them? I'll keep looking at. Like,
it kind of looks like stairs.
I can't even read where it is.
It looks like a shelf to me. Like, it looks like a shelf in the
shelf. I can see how you think shelf.
That could be too. Yep.
What do you think? This black thing.
That I don't know.
Like it looks like a TV. To like in the same way that I could imagine this being stairs or a shelf. Like, this looks as if it was like a TV mounted on a wall, but also definitely is not that. A curtain,
right? Or a blouse, almost like a jacket. See there, like that could be a opening in the middle, and then a jacket on each. You know, how it closes in on each side.
Also, I don't know what to read into it, but I mean, the Ghostface looks very bulky in this. Like out here, you know?
Yeah.
To me, I think it looks like this is just my first thought. I'm not 100% on this anymore, but it almost looks like the bodega scene from a different angle. Like, and I can't really tell if the mask is the same mask from that scene or not here. Like, it kind of looks like it could be, but also I can't. It's pretty blurred out. I got nothing there. So is somebody recording the kills again here in Scream 6? Like, is that what we're watching?
Maybe. Or what is that? Or could that be a smartphone? Alex, could you go back to that picture?
Yeah.
Could they be holding up their cell phone, and what you're seeing here, you're seeing like this, like you're seeing there, like the camera on the back of the cell phone there.
Oh yeah, okay.
You see what I mean?
That could be it, yeah.
That could be their They're recording it on their cell phones, like that.
Oh, maybe that's like a mirror. Oh, okay. I'm okay. I'm
It
seeing
could
that.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's definitely a device. There's something other than a knife in that hand, and if it's not the screen 3 changer, it looks more like a cell phone. The more I look at it now, it's kind of the same size as a
Well, yeah, if
cell
they're
phone.
like on
See,
the
look.
phone, oh man, yeah,
See?
that's possible. But then of course, then the question becomes, is it, where's it from? Like, is it from this movie? Is it past footage from
Right.
something else behind? Is it setting up the origin of how this person became Ghostface? Is it Kirby? Like
Yeah.
could be a couple things. I want to talk to you guys one time on the Tara Sam hanging thing to see where we stand on it now, and we'll probably head off in the next 10 minutes or so. I'll pull up pictures so we can look at it on the spots. But where are we on why Tara smirks, how Sam gets pushed off, even though like how any of that stuff, the placement of those scenes? What do you guys think?
Zach Cherry put out a great tweet about that. He's like, imagine thinking that Tara's the killer because she has RBF or something like that. I'm just like, yeah, like that's pretty much how I took that scene. I really don't think she's gonna be the killer. They would have to explain so much to make her the killer in this one. Like what had to have happened? But like, you want to talk, going back to the Sydney argument, Sydney snapping and going Ghostface. What happened in the less than a year time frame from 5 to 6 that would make Tara go Ghostface? I mean, I know we don't know her that well, opposed to Sydney Prescott, but still, like, I can't see it. I can't see it.
Say she was going to flesh out her character more in this one. So
that's a good point. Hey, you know what? That's a good point. Maybe we find out she's secretly evil.
yeah. She had a grudge. What do you think, Steven? Where are you on? Or well, Jake, what on the actual scene itself, right? So here, let's we'll pull up just them kind of holding each other's hands first. So where are you on placement here of this happening? We also then have Ghostface dragging the knife along the bar, and then eventually Sam is going to get pushed off. There was the argument of maybe is this image flipped, but I think that's kind of been debunked. Yeah. It really does look like Sam's on top, Tara's on the bottom. Yeah. But then either Sam lets go, and this goes to my age-old argument. I don't know if you guys have heard it. The thing that doesn't make sense for me is if you let Tara go here, we know that Sam gets flung from here. Yeah. So I feel like all drama, tension goes out the window now. Because like Sam's not going to die from that being flung. So why should we be afraid of Tara letting go? And that would also debunk Tara smirking in a proud way, like, let me go. You defend yourself, you let me go. That also kind of eliminates that too, because again, Tara would drop, but then Sam's going to get flung anyway, so both of them wouldn't die. So the only thing that's left is Tara does get pulled up, I'd imagine, and then Sam gets flung over. That's the only way I feel like the scene can work without lessening Tara's death, because there's no way Tara would die if Sam gets flung. So where are you guys on that whole scenario?
I think I pretty much agree with you, but I think what's going to happen is I think she's going to save Tara, because I feel like this is what the whole movie's building up to. We were talking about earlier how there's going to be some discourse in their relationship, right? About how like Tara's like, you're smothering me, like leave me alone. I don't need your protection. And then guess what? She does need her protection. Oh, okay, I'm going to help you, sis. Brings Jenna Ortega back up. You're safe now. Okay, Ghostface pushes Sam over the edge, kills Tara, and then I think they have their whole fight. I don't think that kills Sam though. I think the whole idea is that like maybe she falls and like just is hurt and then something else happens. But that, I haven't seen the movie. What the hell do I know? But that's just my thought process on what's going on here, because like that all has to go somewhere. They're not just going to have all that in this movie of this tension between these two characters for filler. It's going to go somewhere in the third act is how I see it. And that is exactly the scene we're looking at here.
Do you think this is before or after what we just looked at with the project? Because Sam's arm is still cut, and when her head does the turn, do you think this is before that or after it?
I want to say before. But I genuinely don't know. Like,
I think before, to get Tara out of the way. then it's just Sam versus because it's going to be Sam and Tara versus 2, I think, when they're back to back.
Yeah, because we get that scene.
What? Go ahead.
Well, yeah, no, that's exactly. We get that scene, right? Them back to back. They're fighting 2 ghost faces. Something happens, and then there's a chase scene. We also see that in the trailer where they're running through like this staircase or whatever. Yeah. I'm assuming they get to that elevator we saw earlier that Gale's in with everybody, and they somehow like get back. Maybe they go up to a higher floor or something. Yeah. I don't know. And then that's how they get onto the balcony, and Ghostface maybe like, oh God, geez, Tara fell off, and okay, we're picking her back up. Whole thing happens like what I just said. Yeah. I could see something like that happening because a big criticism of the last film too was not enough chase scenes. So I think they're going to double down on that here, especially even within the third act, having a chase scene like that mid fight scene would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
yeah. It'd be. I mean, it's these darn trailers and their editing, because everything's out of all the timing. We don't know when, and that's what makes it so much fun, trying to piece the order of when these things happen. But, obviously there's a point where they're both upstairs and Tara, for some reason, is hanging down. I don't know what's made her fall, but Sam grabs her by the hands to try to pull her up. And maybe she does. Maybe she actually pulls her up and then she didn't fall at all. And then, who knows? But we're assuming Tara falls, but maybe she doesn't. Maybe she gets her up there, and then they get back to back, and that whole thing happens.
Well, the only thing with the back to back is Sam's arm. You can see the right arm, which is untouched.
Oh, that's untouched. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
So that's gotta be before. I imagine it goes somewhat what Jake said. They're back to back. They're fighting.
Right.
Somebody strikes Tara. She dodges. It hits Sam in the arm. That's what I would.
That makes sense.
That's kind of how I see her getting that cut.
And maybe
she could get cut straight on from her person.
Right.
I think and because another thing with the whole Tara being sketchy, if you frame it the right way and Tara dodges at like the perfect time to attack Sam, it's like the Tara plan to do that. The Tara plan to move out of the way. So I'm not saying my whole thing is I do not think Tara is in on it. I think it's a cool.
Yeah.
You can't really make these arguments for 5. You couldn't do this in the past. Like, this is a cool little thing that we've never been able to talk about. But I don't think so. But I could imagine if the theme is to make Tara look sketchy, maybe the strike comes from Tara's side. So it's like, oh, did Tara dodge that on purpose?
And I'd be fine with her being a red herring. I would be totally fine with that if you wanted to make her kind of suspicious the whole movie, because there's a lot of people who could see it happening. She's a big star, and but basically both of our characters in the last movie were big stars, Jack Quaid and Mikey Madison. I mean, she was in a Tarantino movie, so where she dies the exact same way, which is hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, I could see that being the case here, making her kind of like a red herring. I totally agree with you, though. If she's the killer, I'm going to be kind of disappointed. I think there's a cooler route to go with the end of this film, but
there'd be some explaining to do. Even I don't think, no matter what, she can't be Ghostface. I've always said you have to do a mastermind kind of thing, and then you're gonna catch yourself up on that one as well. You got to really give some good reasons why it has to happen in between 5 and 6. You can't have her knowing that, getting her hands stabbed through and her leg broken. And also, as people have brought up, that was just like a charade. It's not even just the fact that you could have killed Tara to bring Sam back, so why didn't you kill her? But the thing is, why did you need to get that extreme if you're all in on it? You didn't have to do those things. Nobody's watching. Us as the audience is the only one watching that opening scene.
Right. True.
Let me just thank Carrie Crave Cinema becoming a member, and Denisha for the super chat. Thank you too. Great folks. We're going to head off. So I'll let, as always, we share a lot of the exact same people, but if you haven't subscribed, of course, to Jake or Steven, both of their links are in the description. Gentlemen, any final thoughts on where you're at with the movie, or any final goodbyes, and we'll head off.
Alex, there's one thing I want to see from Ghostface in this movie.
What?
I'm dead serious about this too. I want to see him bite into a rat real bad, like right in the sewers. Michael Myers didn't do it. I want to see it happen in this movie. I don't know how you feel about that, but I feel like it's critical to this movie's success. But no, I'm totally kidding.
Slow it right down, right for that scene.
I gotta call up Guy Busey, tell him about my rat ideas.
Well, Jake, we do know one movie that can see a rat getting bitten, has a rat's head getting bit, right?
What's that? Because I'm in. I'm in whatever this movie is.
Um,
You're talking. Oh, yeah.
my hand is a little bit.
Well,
red.
there is already a movie that does that. You're right.
Yes,
But
there is. Of which you have intimate knowledge of.
I do. Yes. That was fun.
Not to give a spoiler out, but if you guys have not seen Jake's movie, The Red Right Hand, Scream fan film, what are you doing? You got to go check out his movie, guys. After this stream, go right over to Jake's channel and watch the movie. It's so good, so much fun. And
thank you, man.
I will just say this: no rats are safe. Even rats aren't safe in this movie.
Rats are not safe.
They're not. They're not safe. As for me, guys, I'll just say that, let's support this movie. I know that a lot of folks, including myself, are disappointed we don't have Nev, but don't let that stop us from supporting this film, what looks to be a great movie. And remember this, if we want to see Nev in 7, let's support 6 to let them know we're going to buy tickets for when they do bring her back in the future. So pre-sales should begin in about 2 weeks. So keep your eyes open on your favorite movie sites to pre-order your seats. Let's really get the hype going and spread the word in your families, your friends, your social networks, your coworkers, schoolmates, whatever you are in your own personal lives. Let everyone know, hey, you want to see what looks to be a wicked cool movie, whodunit mystery in New York? Let's go see this movie. Let's show the studio that 5 wasn't a fluke, that we really want to see this movie. Let's hit 150, and let's get ready for Nev in Scream 7, because that's what I'm calling for. Dang it. Bring her back.
Yes.
I think it could, as long as the movie, I think if it nails it, it will do very well, because you will have, again, that casual audience that doesn't care at all. And at least you can throw it to them and say, yeah, but this one, like, it really is actually different. And it's not, what's Escape from Manhattan? What's the Jason? What's that one? Takes Manhattan. It's not like,
yes.
it's not the modern day version of that. It's like,
no.
I think that honestly would get a lot of just normie kind of people. I don't know about the Jenna thing. I've always been I'm pretty anti the idea of movie stars existing nowadays. I mentioned that, I think, on Knight's channel, Steven, I think you had left it, and I had said, I really don't know if a movie star exists anymore. I think Jenna and that's not even a biasness of Scream, I think she flat out honestly is the closest thing because of like the Instagram thing. However, did she make Wednesday, or did Wednesday make her? And that's going to be really, for me, for Scream 6, if there's like a noticeable 25-30 million jump, that's literally Jenna Ortega. 100%. If there's no jump, it's just kind of casual, then it continues. I really, Tom Cruise is the only one. Tom Cruise, in my opinion, is the only movie star that exists. Johnny Depp was, but I really don't know if there's any other. And by movie star, I mean somebody who gets people to go, like makes money, and it's because of that person, not like fan, like, Instagram following. Everybody's got 20 million followers and stuff like that, but that's kind of an aside.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting to think about, though. Like,
it's a controversial thought because people take it that I'm going after Jenna, and it's like, I just don't think movie stars exist, period, anymore. It's not her. It's not against her,
Well, it's a good test. We'll find out. It's a good test because that Wednesday show, of course, she was already rising before Wednesday, obviously. But to your point, when you gain 10 million, imagine this, guys. We're content creators. You go to sleep, you have whatever you got. I don't remember how many followers you got. Doesn't matter. You wake up tomorrow. I got a couple thousand, not that much. Wake up the next morning after my show debuted, and I log into Instagram, and it says, instant notification, you have 10 million new followers.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's insane.
And I'm sure her agent is working right now on getting some ads, monetization, whatever Instagram does. 10 million people. Trust me, she's going to be getting part of that cheese.
Yeah, that's the thing that I think in the modern day movie stars, they get higher money, stuff like that. Even like Margot Robbie, talented actress, not even close to a movie star. She's never carried anything. Babylon flopped. Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey flopped. She's never. She's talented, but she can't do it. But I don't think anybody can, and that's kind of, what I mean. So I think from like a behind the scenes, her agents are saying, "Oh yeah, triple her salary, for the next contract." But I don't know if there's any evidence that she will bring more money to these things. That's Scream 6 is actually the test, which is really weird. That Scream gets that honor for,
That's why we don't have comedy movies anymore, dude. I mean, it used to be like, what's the new Adam Sandler movie? I don't care what it's about. I'm going for Adam Sandler or Will Ferrell. You know what I mean? Like we don't have those anymore. And it's you're pretty spot on. That's a really interesting, really interesting
hot take Wednesday. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. To everybody in the chat, we really do appreciate it. Again, make sure you guys go support Jake and Steven in the description. You can find their channels. Thank you all for the support, and we'll see you all on the next one.
Bye, guys.